Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess. Today's video really would go into how we can effectively reach out to hiring managers or recruiters on LinkedIn. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video that talks about how to make your LinkedIn profile visible or just how to get it right, you need to see that first before you see this. And if you feel like I have a pretty solid profile, I don't need that, then stay with me and let's get right into it. First thing, when you reach out to anyone on LinkedIn, especially someone who doesn't know you personally, the first thing they would most likely do is refer to your profile. They would go and check out your profile to see who's this person, what are they on about, why are they messaging me, sometimes even before they are done reading the message. Now let's talk about how you can reach out to these people. Now there are two instances where you can possibly reach out to a hiring manager or a recruiter. The first instance is you see a job with a company that you really like, you feel like this is the next job for you, this is perfect in terms of your experience. You apply to the job, or maybe you don't, but you just want to make sure your application is actually going to be considered or at least reviewed. So what then do? You go on LinkedIn, of course, and then you check out the company because you already know who they are, and then you go on to check out its people, that's the employees, and then you can actually search. You can search to see who's the recruiter at the company or who the recruiters are at the company, and then you can do a further deep dive to understand their profile. Do they hire for certain business functions? Could this person be the one hiring for your role? Do some studying before you actually reach out. The second part is also reaching out to hiring managers or even people doing the same job. All you have to do is put head of whatever that role is. They're looking to hire a recruiter. You can put talent acquisition manager or director of talent acquisition or talent acquisition lead. There's so many options to try out, or you can just put talent acquisition, but you may have a lot of people to look through depending on the number or the size of the company. In any case, you do some James Bond research and then you find out who the potential hiring manager could be. The second instance as to why you might want to reach out is somebody working with the companies, because maybe you didn't see a job that you're hiring for that suits your profile, but you do indeed want to join such a company, and then you just want to reach out to them saying, hey, I'm here, I have this, I have that, and this is why I think I'd be great for the company. That's also a very ideal reason for reaching out to hiring managers or recruiters. Now, how do you really go about this? The messaging, you have to get the messaging right. Now, I'm going to speak from personal experience. I get messages every single day. It is normal for recruiters to get so many messages. The thing is, how do you make sure your message gets read? You need to keep it short and sweet. Short doesn't mean it lacks content. It just hits the right spot. Now, what do? What I see a lot of people do is they have a copy and paste message. I mean, this in itself is not too bad, but it's not great, and I'll tell you why it's not great. You can't copy and paste the same thing to each person because there's some studying that comes before you reach out to a person on LinkedIn. You definitely want to do some studying before you reach out. You want to look out for common interests. Did we go to the same school? Do we have mutual connections? Do I know someone who personally knows them? Do they know? Look for something. If there is something, leverage that and incorporate it into your messaging. Super important, because that's the one thing that can catch their attention. So it could really be anything, but you have to think about something you can incorporate into your messaging. And this is why copy and paste isn't the greatest way to go about it. Speaking of copying and pasting, a lot of people copy and paste to the points where they don't actually care about who they're sending to. So I get a lot of dear sirs. I'm not a sir. Some people just copy and paste and then they come back and say, oh, just realize that, those ones are even gracious. Like they actually realize and then they come to try to course correct. Sometimes it's too late because you've moved on from that person. You're looking at the new influx of messages you've received. And then sometimes they don't even realize that they called you sir 5 times because they didn't check it. So this is why you need to put some thought when you are messaging anyone on LinkedIn, especially when you are seeking a job. Now let's talk about the body of the message. Obviously, introduce yourself. If you found something in common, say it. Like, oh, I just, stumbled on your profile and discovered that you and I went to school together. And then just have a sentence or two about, what you've done and why you're interested in working for the organization. And then sometimes it's even less about making it look like an application and more about asking for what they are looking for, especially if this person is the recruiter or the hiring manager, just to ask for some feedback. That could help you get some engagement as well. Like, oh, what might you be looking for in this role? I know I have the experience, but there may be something that I'm, that is not clearly stated in the JD, something just to get a sense of what are they looking for before you even apply. Or if you applied, you can also let them know that, hey, you've applied and it would be great to get some feedback from you, not feedback from your application, just them looking at your profile, and just make sure there is some call to action. And then refrain from asking people to remember you when the time comes. I get so many messages like that. I'm just like, listen, it's even hard to remember people that you know a lot when you have opportunity. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So imagine that you're just coming randomly and asking for them to remember you when an opportunity that suits you comes up. You need to do the job, not them. You need to consistently check the job board, consistently keep in touch, and then of course when you see something, go back to them and say, hey, I reached out a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, or even 2 years ago, and I saw something interesting. And they carry on. Number one, don't copy your cover letter. Don't do a copy and paste to each person you're sending a message to. Try to always tailor it so that it suits them. Look for something that is in common or something that feels like common interest between you both. So for instance, I've had people reach out to me to say, oh, Jazz, I know you're very passionate about career and whatnot, and I do this on the side. That gets me interested. Like, oh, you know, I could collaborate with this person or partner with this person in the future, even outside of the job. But that gets me to even read their messages. And then my last tip is give it some time, right? The recruiters may not respond to you the same day or even the same week, because like I said, recruiters get a lot of messages. You don't always have to reach out to the recruiters, so you can do that, but that's not the only option. And not even just the hiring managers as well. You can reach out to peers, people who have the same job title as the role that is being displayed or advertised. Now those people, they may not get too many reach outs, so they are more likely to read your message and then share your message or forward that to the recruiter or the hiring manager, because just for visibility, right? So you can do that. So don't rely on just the recruiters. Like I said, it can be a handful for them in terms of reading messages and whatnot, but you can also reach out to the hiring managers and reach out to the peers of that role. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was useful to you in one way or the other. I will see you in my next video, but in the meantime, do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Don't forget to turn on post notifications for when I post my next video. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. Please like this video to build more engagement for my channel, just to help my channel. So I will see you in my next video. Take care and bye.